Well, happy Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Little bit of a weather delay. Apparently, it is raining pretty hard right now in Louisiana, which is where our guest is coming from this week. I want to introduce you to Steve Masters, who for the past 30 years, that is incredible, has served as the BCM campus minister at Louisiana State University. Steve, man, thank you so much for taking the time to join me and have this conversation today.
It's good to be with you.
Yeah. So I've got a few questions. We normally do 3 or 4. I think today for you, I've got 4 or 5. So let's just dive right in. First question is, we talk about collegiate ministry. Why should the college campus be a focus of prayer and service and ministry for our churches? Why should the church care about and focus on the campus?
Well, number one is just the number of college students, millions and millions and millions of them. They're at a strategic time in their life. They're trying to make a decision of what's their career going to be, who's going to be their husband or wife, but more important than that, what are they going to do spiritually? They may have been a part of a youth group. What are they going to do in college? And it's such a critical time in their lives, and it's a tremendous mission field because they're all gathered, in colleges and universities.
So why then do so few churches, and if we get personal, why do so few pastors like me prioritize the campus? Why is it not higher on our to-do list, right, in church life?
Well, I do think it's a pretty high priority among churches, especially those who are away from there's 2 different groups. You got the people who be a priority who's actually can reach the college students themselves. Then you got those who can't reach the college students directly, but they can support it through the cooperative program. And so you look at that, I've found the vast majority of pastors believe in college students, believe in the importance of collegiate ministry, believe in us. But I think it's just apples and oranges. You got the apples is the pastors that are, let's say, that are on campus, they're close enough to reach them. And even then, I found most of them realize the importance of strategic reaching college students. So I'm pretty optimistic about our church support of collegiate ministry.
So what do you think then the future of our cooperative on-campus collegiate reaching effort at BCM? What do you think the future of BCM is going to look like?
Well, I think it's real critical I worry about BCM being collateral damage, if that makes sense. I think everyone agrees that collegiate ministry is a strategic field, but there's a splintering of our cooperative program. Some churches are taking money and they'll get mad at this their state convention. They might get mad at the agency and they're redirecting money. Now, that's a concern that I have, is just a redirection of the cooperative program. That's the value of it, is that I can stay on campus 24/7, 365 days a year, don't have to raise my own salary because of the cooperative program.
Absolutely. So let me ask you a question then, because I'll hear this as I'm talking with some of my brother pastors about collegiate reaching and BCM and engaging through the church and the different models that we've talked about in some of these videos in the past. Do you see, or do you get a sense that maybe the BCM is in competition or competes with the local church?
No, not at all. I see myself as being an extension of ministry of the church, but I want students involved in our ministry to be involved in the local church. And I think we're on the front lines. We've had 150 different freshmen attend the BCM at LSU this fall, and probably at least 100 of them are prospects for local churches. So we partner very closely with our local churches and try to get those students to move on into the church. So I think it's a partnership, and the reason I think that, and I think there's a danger though, some states, which I won't mention the name, have gone to a different model of just trying to do church-based only. But I think that really doesn't work as well, because you can't front line, and gather those freshmen all together. They don't know where they're going to go to church at. And when they first come there, and so the BCM gives them a place to go, to connect, to meet people from those churches, and then move into them.
So what would you say to pastors like me about how can we get engaged either in what you're doing through the work of BCM, which is our ministry on our campuses, or what can we do to be, putting alongside and through our church trying to reach college students? What coaching would you give us?
One thing a pastor can do is just try to stay in touch with his or her his students. I say his or her, but his students that are going to a local campus. And I say her because there might be some student pastors out there. The same thing. It's critical that they let us know who's coming and try to stay in touch with them. Keep encouraging them to go. 90% of the high school graduates of our Southern Baptist churches and evangelical churches have dropped out of their faith by the time they graduate from college. We're not losing the vast majority of them in college. We're losing them in the older youth. But there's a chance for us to reclaim those students, to bring them back, bring back that lost sheep into the fold. And we can't do so unless we know who they are. So it's critical a church connects with us, but not just give us the name, but also stay in touch with them. Try from their end every 2 or 3 months. Call them, hey, have you got involved in the BCM at a local church? You know, and call me and say, hey, Steve, is so-and-so come? It's just a partnership between us and parents and those pastors.
You know, Steve, for years, even way back when I was on a campus doing collegiate ministry, you know, you really were leading the national effort to help freshmen connect, to help churches connect their freshmen with campus ministries. Could you just talk a little bit about that ministry and that effort, and maybe some best practices? Because we do have, you know, a lot of pastors will watch these videos, but we've got a lot of moms and dads who are sending their kids off to college. What are some best practices? What's the ministry you've been engaged with to helping freshmen connect with churches and ministries when they get to school?
Well, on the national level, for about 18 years until Lifeway abdicated their role with collegiate ministry, I was the transitions worker for the Southern Baptist Convention, which meant I was trying to connect every student, every high school graduating senior and juniors that went to Centrifuge, Missionfuge, World Changers of Student Life. We would try to connect them with whatever BCM and local church they were going to before they arrived on campus. And we're continuing to do that. And I applaud the leaders of those organizations, Student Life, and and also World Changers and Centrifuge, because they continue to partner with us. Now, the coronavirus kind of messed up our network. There wasn't as many went, but we're still really trying. That's on the national level. And there's a lot of that happening across the state. Oklahoma has Falls Creek. They have a tremendous relationship with thousands and thousands of high school graduate seniors. Alabama does some great things. There's states, Texas does great things. There's local association camps and state camps work with us very, very closely. On the local level, I try to do everything I can do to reach out to freshmen. Every orientation that LSU has, we're there as a Baptist Collegiate Ministry. We contact all the churches in Louisiana. I applaud my state director, my supervisor, Mark Robinson. We send a letter to every church in the state asking for the names of graduating high school seniors. We ask alums to give us names. We ask our current students to give us names. We try to make contact with them and establish a relationship with them during their senior year, not just when they arrive on campus. We want to try to already know them and connect with them. But like I said, 90% of those students that we're contacting have dropped out of faith. So their natural pattern is to get to college, come to BCM, come to a local church, and drop out again. So we're trying to really establish a strong relationship with them that we can bring them back. So we're looking for 3 different types of freshmen. We're looking for the dedicated believer, who stayed, the 10% that stayed. We're looking for the lost sheep. And the third group, obviously, is a group that the number one group helps us reach, and that's the lost college student that doesn't know Christ as Savior.
So kind of as we're wrapping up here, what's something we can do, I could do to be praying for you there at LSU, or what can we be doing to praying for our BCM campus ministers in our state or across the country? How can we be a help? How can we?
Well, one of the most valuable things that a student can do is go on a mission trip. And all of us, all of the campus-based ministers that I know sponsor at least 1 or 2 mission trips a year. One of the things they can do is the church can provide a scholarship for their students to go. That makes it more attractive for them to go. And it's just not a financial incentive. It's also makes a statement to that student, my church still cares about you. You were involved with us, but we're still going to continue to be invested in you when you go away. That's one thing, the big thing that they can do is to scholarship them for on a mission trip.
Fantastic. Well, Steve, thanks so much for your time. And really, man, just thank you for what you're doing. 30 years on that campus. I'm an Auburn grad, as a student of Cleat Sipes way back in the day. And, I'm just so, I don't even know how to say this. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for guys like you who really have given your entire ministry to reaching college students. So, man, I'm praying for you. I'm pulling for you. And just on behalf of a lot of other pastors in the SBC, man, keep up the great work, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, let me share one more thing in closing with you. On behalf of the Baptist Collegiate Ministry directors like me, and there's different names across different states, BSU in Mississippi, Baptist Student Ministry in Texas, but we're all campus-based Southern Baptist Convention ministers. I want to say thanks to you and the churches for your cooperative program support, but also for your local association support. Because my salary is from the cooperative program, but all of my operating expenses comes from my local association. And that's how most of us are set up. So it's also association support. Then there's a third group of churches that give directly on top of that. So thank you for your support of ministry. We have to have finances to do something. You guys provide it. So
Well, I love that we get to be partners in this. You're doing something I can't do in Southwest Georgia. You're reaching kids in college in Louisiana. And I'm just, again, thanks so much for what you do, praying for you, pulling for you, and just can't wait to see you down the road. So God bless, and we'll talk to you later.
all right, thanks. Okay.
See you, Steve. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.